Hey everyone, Chuck Beaver here, former dev of Dead Space. I am doing a commentary playthrough on Dead Space 2. And we're on chapter 3 this episode, so let's get rolling. We just crashed. Huge finale to chapter 2. I'm still trying to follow up. Look at that. It's a good horror setup, Dead Space developers. So that would be, I think, the child that's going to be coming a little bit later in the level. That was foreshadowing. Sound design, always epic. Just epic out of its mind. All right. So now we're kind of recovering from where the tram took us in that giant finale. And we have to go through this place. We're still trying. This is still lasting. This plot point that was established where Daina says, "Come to me. I can solve your brain, which is infected with a marker signal that is growing and is killing you. And only I can fix it. And you get to me before Tideman gets to you, because he was the one who, at the beginning of the game, set out to kill you. Because you were a marker savant, and that project he was trying to cover up with everyone's death." So no progress has been made understanding almost any of that, really, in a couple of chapters. Just all we know is that we need to get to her. And so we kind of let that opening, establishing motivation still hang and motivate and keep us going through all of chapter 2 and now into chapter 3. These are like children's trophies. I really want that second one from the top there. That looks like, don't you want that in your house? So now we're going to be getting into like creepy children things, because that's extra creepy when children, like kindergartens and places, are haunted and stuff like that, because it's supposed to be a super safe space. So it's like, okay. Right. Introduction of these enemies. Oh no! This is our large, not our fodder enemy, but this is our more, meant to be more of a horde enemy. This would make you need something more than a plasma cutter. Jesus. I might have needed the force gun in this one. So these are obviously infected children. Which is super creepy.
Still alive? We can't talk. I think they're tracking our signals. Are the memories coming back to you? They're coming back to me. The good ones. And the bad ones. The more I remember, the more my head hurts. I keep seeing the symbols. Do you see the symbols too, Isaac? In him. I keep seeing his face. Shit, found me.
I love Strauss. It's so weird to me, because when I see these things, all I see is the motion capture stage and the actors in the outfits and the suits, because we were doing all that. So that's really great. I love all that. I realized, I think I said in a previous episode too, I know Ben had a vision of Strauss that was more sinister, or at least not agency sinister. Like he wasn't trying to be sinister, but he was so darkly affected by what was happening to him that he was a menace. So maybe more menacing was what in the end we wanted. We played him just a little more like lost, I think, or just a little more, oh God, he's a little more, just getting weaker and feebler by what was going on and less of a threat. And I know that in the end Ben wanted that to be more of a menace, which we could have played. But, there's a lot going on when you make a game. So next time, Ben, we'll get it right. All right, now we've reached a fun point here. We've managed to make it through some very difficult spawns. We got to save the game. The store! So we should change some suits out. Let's see what we got going on. The store is always great. I used to love getting to the store in the game. You're like, do. Let's do bloody vintage suit, just for fun. All right. Back in the barrel, Isaac. I don't think we mocapped that, by the way. I think all that animation was all Chris Stone's team. at the time, and I think we were using it on Dead Space 1 and 2. This thing here with the light going down, we were like wondering, are we going to show the suit? Do we have to animate? Oh, wow, look at that suit. This is like way back in the day. This isn't even remake. This is just Dead Space 2. That looks amazing. Unless this was put in later. All right, let's go. That's so good. We were like, well, what happens when we change suits? Like, we can't show it because there's load sets and stream sets happening. Like, you have to, like, you know what I mean? You have to, like, you can't show stuff because the game is literally, you know, behind the scenes is broken and is like, you know, the models are not there. They just disappear as you load in data sets. And so, I forget who, maybe it was Ben, who said, we'll just close the door and shine the light at the player. That was always our answer to everything, was like, shake the camera and shine a light at the player to hide all the stuff we needed to hide. Oh, all right, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna switch out to one of our weapons we just bought. I'm gonna switch out to the Shock Point Ripper, which we just bought. We don't have a lot of ammo, so we're gonna be in trouble quick with it, but we'll just see. All right, here we go. Now we're in the mall. This was fun.
Hey, Daina, there's this crazy guy that keeps contacting me. I saw him back at the hospital.
Nolan Strauss. He was a patient in the project, just like you.
Yeah? Well, why was he there? What does he want?
He's a psychopath, Isaac. Stay clear of him. He murdered his own wife and child.
Okay, I'll be careful.
Okay, I'll be careful. Okay, we could have done more there, but, you know, you've got to get out of the scene, so you have to just kind of get in and get out. Not sure why Daina hates Strauss, but, like, you know, I like that Isaac is like, who is all this? No one could trust us. Text logs. So, United Space Freeing Guild History Series, for anybody who wanted it. 2 of 2, Conquering a Moon. As the operation got underway, the orbital platforms that assisted with the work became the prototype for the planet crackers that would soon follow. And so we're just laying down some nice, fun lore timeline here. For people that are the lore nerds who love this stuff, we just wanted to give them plenty to work with. Look at the picture over here. And that's fun, of the planet with the Ishimura and the crack. That's pretty good. That's fun stuff to do. Look at these hairstyles. You're probably going to recognize somebody in here in these holographic hairstyles. That is Papoutsis. More likenesses of team members in the game that we should do. Steve Papoutsis was a GM who finally took over the project on Dead Space 2 after we had a lot of change in leadership, as you guys know. The first year was Todd Arnold, and Glenn is the GM of the studio. And then, as you know, Glenn took off to go do Sledgehammer and took part of the team with him. And then Todd left shortly after that, and then Steve took over. And so we got him in the game as well. This is fun. Stuff's destroyed. There's Lightspeed. He shows up lots of places later, I think. And that's in the remake, I think he shows up. But he's like a fun anchor element of this mall, right? So now we're going to see more of the Sprawl. This is really hard to do. As you can see in the background, we put Tideman's face giving his announcement. You don't have enough context for this. The Sprawl has giant fins of displays, like inverted spheres from Las Vegas, which are meant to play like happy looking, you know, tropical outside exterior views onto the Sprawl, so you don't feel like you're just in space. In this case, those have been repurposed for Tideman's, you know, martial law order. The problem is you don't know what that is you're seeing. You're like, that looks just like a big TV screen. If you'd seen the Sprawl, you would see that they were arrayed around it in these big encompassing video screens, right? Again, failure of us to establish the Sprawl's geometry in the early game. So you can see one of the fins there, and there's one. That might have made more sense if you'd had an establishing shot to anchor yourself. Okay, now you can see the Sprawl. I lied, look. You can see these giant screens.
This is Director Tideman. A station-wide emergency is in effect. In accordance with Titan Station Civic Code,
Right, and those sort of fade around. And again, like I said, normally those are supposed to be playing pretty happy tropical vistas for you to look at. So now we're entering the Unitologist section, and this was a big deal. Oh, more text logs. Altman's footsteps. We, the children of the marker, grow tired of the oppressive, thinly veiled attacks from EarthGov on our rights to worship. Reduced hours of operations, fire marshals. So apparently, EarthGov. This is setting up the conflict between EarthGov and Unitology. Behind the scenes, as you know, EarthGov wants the red marker and Unitology wants the red marker, as was even evident in Dead Space 1. They're both fighting for control of it. Convergence is nigh. We've mentioned convergence here. For the first time, this is where this whole concept exists, and it, of course, is almost triggered at the very end with the cool thing, and then, of course, it becomes the centerpiece of Dead Space 3. So, laying the groundwork. Oh, look at the little panel. Is that Geo? Or is that just... pretty good. All right, let's go into Unitology. So this section... I remember early on, we had decided... I think EM was...
Daina,
oh, hold on.
I thought you were routing me to residential. This looks like a Unitology recruitment center. Am I still on track?
Yes. There's an old maintenance access point in there that'll take you through the waste disposal system and into the Cassini Towers. Stay sharp.
So now that we know what we know about the remake's version of Isaac's backstory and history with Unitology and his mother and Nicole, his reactions here would have been a little bit stronger to coming into Unitology. But it doesn't break it. It's not bad. So here we got all this Unitology propaganda. The team was really excited. I know EM was really excited to like dig deeper into this crazy religion that we had in the franchise. And I think one of the first levels that we built, one of the first visual build-outs of the new Dead Space 2 Fidelity was that section we're about to get into, the Unitology, the church. Like, what does the church look like? That's got to be crazy. So I think that was where the team was kind of getting its pipelines and processes up to speed again with some of the new specs they needed to do. I think we were in there doing that. Text logs. Perry Gibault. So Gibault, that would be a homage to Frank Gibault. I was particularly very fond of Frank Gibault. He was a gamers supporting sort of the perspective of the gamers and the audience. He was just really, I think he was great. I think a lot of the team really enjoyed him as well. So again, this is just setting up the conflict between Unitology and EarthGov secretly about the marker itself. They're both competing for the marker, and Unitology is under attack from EarthGov. Look at this. I don't know if you can tell that says together. They're holding up a sphere. If you remember, there's a sphere. That is the Brethren moons that they don't know that they're worshiping, but that becomes a thing later. I don't know if we did that on purpose. I'd have to ask Ben if he knew at the time that the sphere was essentially an analogy to the Brethren moons. Because we didn't come up with the Brethren moons till Dead Space 3, so it wouldn't have been here. All right, so it's been a while since I was attacked. Oh, I'm woefully misarmed for this. Oh no, now I've done it. Did I shoot? Ah! The kids are killing me! That was another decompression moment. Less glamorous than the first one, but once you have all the tech down, you can do more, right? Without really having... Oh, I'm so dead. Alright, I changed weapons. I'm a little hamstrung because my UI doesn't work with my controller, so I have the weapon I have until it runs out of power, and then I have to suffer the weapon changed automatically. Alright, that was a great setup. Another decompression. Again, how fun! The Sprawl's expanding, and you can see where they're like, you know, construction is pending. That's always kind of fun. More Unitology propaganda. That never goes bad. Oh, I'm gonna have to dig through another tunnel. All right, so that's always fun. I forgot how much we could see out here. Oh yeah, look. So these are always fun to design. Like, okay, what do we see out this window? Because we need to do a reverse establishing shot. Because we didn't have an establishing shot at the very beginning because we started in media res. So, okay, we're around Saturn. Here's some of the sprawl stuff. You know, the budget in the level can only support so much because we're spending it, you know, on the level. And so you get this giant exterior that has to be enough high resolution enough to actually support that. But that's great. I loved those things. Those were so much fun to have in the game. Because I have a real exploratory sense of when I'm in a franchise and I'm doing something, I want to get a sense of the place. I want to sense the world building. And getting to build that is like a dream. It's so much fun. Okay, we're crawling through the thing now. This is our third one. So far, it's been okay. Like, sure, not so much has happened. Like, you just get out of these or like traversal things. Safe as well. So we're kind of building a pattern of maybe it's safe. I did not mean to do that. Okay. What is this person doing? Sitting at their desk. What?
Okay. Whoever sees this, listen up. You can use kinesis to pull blades off dead ones and shoot it back at them. Watch. Watch. I stayed alive 3 hours using this trick. You see? Just shoot it back at them. I'm gonna bleed out soon. I got clipped pretty bad earlier. So I hope this helps you out. Whoever you are.
So much fun doing those. I see the guy in the mocap suit when I watch these. I think what Bagwell had said at the time, that we're like, we need to reinforce this message because, you know, there's so much going on in the game, mechanics-wise. We want people to know that they've got a way around ammo shortages in the harder modes. And so there was a need to sort of redo it. What a great scene, too. He's like dead there, and he's left a little message, and so we had to figure out how to play video log off someone's, not off of Isaac's rig. So that technology had to get rethought. You know, come here. There it is. And so that stuff all just takes work, you know. 0G garbage compactor. How come I don't have to go through there? Should we go through there? Let's go through there. Let's see what's up. I want to go see what's in here. Oh, by the way, look at the look at the message on the board. ERTS 85.86 Electronic Arts stock. That was ERTS. At the time, I think it was 85.56. Can you imagine? And it dropped sometime after that to 12. Maybe it recovered again, but like that was our gravity 9.73. That was just our hope. Maybe that was the target stock because we were hoping that the stock would go up. We'll probably have to come back through here. Maybe we were all going to get some money from that. If the game shipped well, we had target bonuses or something. I'm not sure why we put that in there. Stasis reminder, an engine in stasis is a safe engine. Goofy stuff. Remember we had done the MC-90 on the Dead Space 1 rocket ship that launched from the solar array? And we got the 90 from that. So apparently I'm going to need stasis. These are all orange. Aiden Young. Who's Aiden Young? I don't recognize the name. Alright, so 0G trash compactor. It's gone offline. We're going to obviously have to get in here and do some stuff. Shut it down. That's what I'm going to do. There's a save station. Oh, and there's a bench. Alright, thanks, bench. Choomp, choomp, choomp. Alright, we're going to save, because you always save if you can save. Let's go. Alright. Cassini Apartments. Shut down. Tunnel 1, 2, 3.
Diagnostic load initiated from waste compression chamber 752. Compressor piston offline. It is now safe to enter the chamber. Authorized personnel only.
Okay, I'm going to do that. And also, you know what? The force gun and the Ripper are fun. I guess I have force gun. I'll stay on the force gun. It's sort of, I don't know if it's entertaining for you guys to watch me one-shot my way through the combat, but let's go. All right, let's go down to this door that we were at. Okay. Wow. Oh, and the one I missed is an exploder. That's terrible. Oh, no. All right. Looks like I have some zero-G stuff going on. Press left stick. Launch. So this was our new gravity, right? We didn't have time to do this in Dead Space 1. Also, we found it to be extremely disorienting. So it was going to be a real challenge to make it work in time, so we just couldn't do it. And so how does this thing work in this space? I got to go through there. I think that was the beginning of the tutorial for the zero-G, because all you had to do is get across the space. Okay, push the blue button. Okay, stuff's flying through. Now we're gonna go. Now we have to get through there. I think we have to stasis our way through here. Or just avoid the obstacles, yeah. To ground. And then we gotta go over here. Very fun. Fly through the trash. The stock's still 85.56? Yes. I'll have to go back and look and see when the stock was what price when we were developing this. 2009 and 10, released in 11. Okay, we made it through that section. There's no lights, of course. This is really dark. Okay. So at this point, narratively speaking, we're just sort of having a good time. We're going through fun and games, you know. Trash compactors. All the good things in life. And just finding fun ways to have fun with Titan Station. Where would you like to go? Well, we should go to a mall. We should go to the sewers. We should go to a tram. You know, trying to think of all the fun places to go and see stuff. I'm not going to spend any more nodes in the rooms. I just can't do it. We saw what that was. I'm good. All right, we have the battery puzzle has been introduced now. So this is a TK issue. Look how big that is. Sometimes you just give up on the thing. You're like, why would this giant battery be like sitting out like that? You never see it anywhere else. It's only there when it's used for a puzzle. You're just like, it's okay. We'll make it work. So much art. So much art. Where are we going? All right, well, Daina, we've got rerouted through the tram. That was terrible. We had to go through a trash compactor. And maybe I'll get to upgrade some stuff here in a little bit. And I came into back through a closet. So we're kind of coming backwards up through the ass end of the sprawl through the trash compactor. Like, is that what we did? Why isn't an elevator lead up to a closet? And so now we're in Unitology Central. We're like in the Unitology section. Oh, these guys. God, I hate these guys. Ugh. So now this is just a more lore exploration. Oh, text logs. Hennon. Sally Hennon. This is Colin Hennon, the lead animator on the series. I love Colin Into Death. Worked so closely with him. He's so great. So she's obviously a unitologist. She's kind of gone. We've been preparing for this since we were human. Do you know how special that makes us? We're the ones who get to see it. They're talking about convergence at this point. So she's like, you know, all in on unitology, thinks it's going to be amazing for humanity. Trying to talk her sister into it. And, you know, who knows? I think we maybe get to see Sally. We'll find out. So this is a unitology apartment. So now we're kind of getting into the creepy innards of a cult, right? Because unitology is obviously a cult. Same sort of setup we saw before, but now it's unitology. Oh, not going great. infected with the little things. And so we're sort of seeing how the cult lives, and we some logs about how that works, right? And they've got lots of symbologies, right? I don't know if that's Marion. Maybe, like, it didn't go as she'd hoped, of course. Little trains. I don't know why there's little trains in here. Gonna keep exploring. So yeah, so the Unitologists, they've got on... Like, why is her face covered in that? I don't know if that was like the Heaven's Gate sort of thing going on there, where they had ceremonial clothing when they died. This was another Ben Monat specialty, like this kid's room, and then there's this... Hi! Hi, Nicole! Look at the little kid's diorama.
Nicole's dead. You're not really here.
Isaac trying to grapple with the illusions of Nicole's haunting him. It's DeMarker trying to mess with them. Look at this awful bloody bed. And then there's this fun little light source that's making these horses dance across the room. That was such a great setup. All right. More candles. It's all darkly lit. So we're getting Unitology vibes, right? Oh, that's bad. And big stuff. Watch. Look.
Titan soldiers have found me. They're tracking me in some sort of gunship.
You're almost here. Hurry.
So Titan has found us. He's been threatening to find us. There's a gunship there. It threatens us and flies away. There's our first big... That's just a marker statue, not a marker. Look at all this stuff. Look how fun Unitology it is. All right, so we're going to kind of wander around. We're going to go through here. What could be wrong? A big open space. I'm sure nothing will happen. More of the sprawl. Now you've kind of got these god rays coming in. Like we're starting to change the lighting to be a little more ominous. More children things. Can't go in there. All right, so we're proceeding. Oh, I got to go down that way. Now you see more of down here, which is going to be a big fight scene. A couple of these marker acolytes. I forget who they are in the pantheon of the religion. What those are supposed to be, those statues. How about that? I helped write it and I can't remember it. All right, there's necromorph sounds, so get ready. Look at that. I think it's called the devil horns. I know the devil's tongue was something we used in Martyr. Or the devil's horns. I have to go back and think exactly. So that might be a call to that. I'll have to go have a look. Okay, now we're going through there. Oh boy. Okay, we're on the ground floor. I'm sure nothing bad is going to happen to us here. We're supposed to go simply through there. you. Look at the little Shimura model, by the way. Oh. Can I grab it? No, but I want that really badly. Gosh, I need that in my life. All right. I'm going to go look around a little bit, see if there's anything I should be collecting before. I'm locked in here now, which is great. What? Oh no. Oh right, there's an infector here. Right, so if you play and die on regular hard mode, you know to come in here and like stomp all the corpses. So the infectors can't do the infector thing. Right. All right, so there's a marker here with a symbol. I think that's a convergent symbol. This is a marker modeled after the black marker. It's not a marker, right? It's just a statue, but... Let's see what we did with the sprawl outside. So now you can see more of the sprawl. You know, again, reverse establishing shot. As you go, you're like, all right, so that's where we are. I guess we're on the other side of the big panels that Tideman was using to announce martial law. So lots of stuff in here. If you were a marker or a Unitology enthusiast and you had the language, you could spend some time in here sort of translating what all is being said. I forgot what we said to say in here. Oh, I should do special. Look. Yeah, so all that stuff is extremely interesting. We are ready. And then the father and the child. So good. You would think in a dev playthrough that I would be giving you exactly all the stuff this room says, but I didn't write all this stuff, so I forgot what it even said. The dev team, the design team was all, they knew exactly what the lore was, so they were writing very accurate stuff. One all in these fabulous circles of Unitology writing, and like, I don't know, that just looks so weird and culty. They did such a great job. That's the acolyte symbol, and this other one, like the devil's horns. So just all these fun symbols for Unitology. And now we get into the Unitology church itself, right? Which is where this shit gets really real. So we wanted a corridor here where we could do some world building optionally. And so if you go by and push these kiosks, it'll explain to you Unitology. Right, so it's a good way to get some backstory passively if you want. You just run through here if you don't want to, but like these would like start talking about Unitology.
In 2214, a geophysicist named Michael Altman made a discovery that would change history. Buried at the impact site of a crater near the Yucatan Peninsula, he uncovered a divine alien presence, the Marker. The Marker spoke to Altman and revealed a plan that would unify mankind and lead them to a bright new future.
So basically, this just goes over all the stuff that's in Dead Space Martyr, the book, and explains where the Marker was found in the Chicxulub crater, and he was the prophet, although, as you know from Martyr, he was not. This goes and talks about billions strong and talks about how people have followed it. This just basically is the history of Unitology, like you would be getting indoctrinated walking into the church. I'm not gonna take the time to play all these, but that's what this was, and we were having a good moment with it. I think this also does their propagandizing. Like, let's listen to this one. I think this one's going to be talking about.
As we await glorious convergence, it is important to continue to nurture our relationship with the Marker and understand the future it is preparing for us. The Marker calls to all of us. It is our duty to approach it with an open heart and open mind.
Ready for convergence, all that kind of stuff. So it's essentially, I know that we talked about having morgue ships at some point, that Ben was talking about giant ships of corpses that were being held for Unitology's purposes for convergence. They never made it into the frame of any of the games, but that was sort of one of the things that was an outgrowth of the understanding of the backstory of Unitology. So I think this is where we'd started our pre-production level, our beautiful corner for Dead Space. Oh no.
It's Tideman, he's found you! Into the church, hurry!
And actually a little bit later. So I'm being shot at by a rocket ship, which is not great. So now you have to avoid this thing. And this forces you into the church. You might not want to go, especially as Isaac, right? So it's a quick moment for a Dead Space, or for a Zero-G moment. Chapter 4, we're in the church! All right. And I recompress.
Daina, the Church of Unitology? Why here?
It's one of the few places on Titan Station that Tideman can't monitor. Separation of church and state.
No, Daina, we shouldn't be in here. This is the last place we want to be right now.
Isaac! My brother died trying to rescue you. This is important. This will work. I'm in a safe room at the top of the church. Meet me there, okay?
It's great. Let's see if we can find a save station. Oh, my UI doesn't work. Okay. Given to the church, and the church will give unto you. So we are really, really like digging into Unitology here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's Altman, and really showing what it would be like. And I think the team enjoyed this so much. Look how gothic it is, and it's sort of a mix between the original Dead Space vibes and sort of a macabre, the cathedrals of bones in Europe and stuff, all these crazy things. I mean, it's really quite creepy, and on purpose, right? I'm here for a save station. And these doors are so ornate, and it's so like black and gold, and it's like stained glass, like the globe again, hinting at Brother Moons. I don't know. They did such a great job when they were doing this. Look at these icons and souvenirs. The Ascendant masks or whatever. What is it called? Enigma masks. Sorry, I've been calling it wrong. All right, that's the end of chapter 3, everybody. Thanks for sticking around and watching. We're about to go into the church, so stuff's going to get crazy in chapter 4. It's going to be a good time. All right, thanks again for watching. See you guys next time. If you want to learn to talk about narrative the way I do, go check out my web series. The writing wasn't very good. And if you want more Dead Space content, go check out our remake playthroughs at Captain Bribbo.